menu. The Cedars features Mediterranean, pub food, Middle Eastern cuisine, and so much more. They're open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Call The Cedars on the east side at 827 Addis Street, Newcastle. 724-658-9543. That's 724-658-9543.
Hello and welcome to Lindy's Lunch. Yes, whether it's their great breakfast or, just like it says, lunch, it's great anytime. Try their breakfast and you'll be satisfied. A pierogi cheeseburger, an Italian Joe, and smothered hoagies, all. And don't forget the French fries with chili. Yes, it's Lindy's Lunch. For the best, stop by. Give us a call.
Rally, sons of Notre Dame, sing the glory and
Hello and welcome to the Cedars Sports Corner Report. Let's take a look at around the sports world on this Saturday. As for your NBA matchups, the Washington Wizards go to LA to take on Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. That game is at 4 o'clock. As for your 5 o'clock game, Miami goes to San Antonio to take on the Spurs. That game is on NBA TV. As for your 8 o'clock, we got a good 4-game slate. Luka Doncic and the Mavericks go to Cleveland to take on Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs. Damian Lillard and the Blazers go to Houston to take on Jalen Green and the Rockets. The streaking hot Utah Jazz go to Milwaukee to take on Giannis and the Bucks. And John Morant and the Grizzlies go to Shea and the Oklahoma City Thunder to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. As for your 9 o'clock game, we got a great matchup. The New Orleans Pelicans go to the Phoenix Suns at 9 o'clock on NBA TV. Now, the reason this is a great matchup is there has been some chippiness between these two teams as Zion almost caused the brawl. However, it was broken up. Don't be surprised if you see another one in that game. As for your NHL slate, the Columbus Blue Jackets go to Boston to take on the Bruins at 1 o'clock. That game is on the NHL Network. Ottawa goes to Detroit at 1 o'clock. That game can be found on ESPN+, along with every single one of these games except for one. Anaheim goes to Edmonton at 4 o'clock. As for your 7 o'clock games, Dallas goes to Carolina. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the defending Eastern Conference champions go to Montreal to take on the Canadiens. The Florida Panthers travel to New Jersey to take on the Red Hot Devils. The New York Rangers, go to Philadelphia to take on the Flyers. And Austin Matthews and the Maple Leafs go to Washington to take on Ovechkin and the Capitals, as Alexander Ovechkin is searching for his goal number 800. All those games are at 7 o'clock, and that Washington game will also be found on the NHL Network. As for your 2 9 o'clock games, Buffalo goes to Arizona to take on the Coyotes, and Nashville goes to Colorado to take on the defending champion Avalanche. As for your 2 10 o'clock games, Winnipeg goes to Vancouver, and the New York Islanders go to Vegas to take on the Knights. To cap it all off, San Jose goes to LA to take on the Kings at 10:30. And remember, almost all of those games can be found on ESPN+. As for your college basketball slate, we got a great one for you, including a great ranked game to start it off. Number 14 Indiana goes to the defending champion Kansas Jayhawks, 14 versus 8 matchup. That game is at noon on ESPN2. As for a local game, St. Francis of PA goes to number 25 Miami. That game is also at noon on the ACC network. The number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide, who are scorching hot, go to number 15 Gonzaga. That game is at 1 o'clock on CBS. North Florida will come into town to take on the Pittsburgh Panthers at 1 o'clock on the ACC network. Another great ranked matchup. The number 5 Houston Cougars, who have recently lost the number 1 spot, go to the number 2 Virginia Cavaliers, who hope to retain the number 1 spot. That game is at 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Or ESPN, that game's at 2 o'clock on ESPN2, ESPN2 will have back-to-back primetime matchups. Indiana State will travel to Duquesne to take on the Dukes. That game is at 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Nichols goes to number 17 Mississippi State at 3 o'clock on the SEC Network. The unranked North Carolina Tar Heels go to the number 23 Ohio State Buckeyes. That game is at 3 o'clock on CBS. The Carolina Tar Heels are struggling as they made a run to the championship last year but have not been off and running to start this year. Number 10 Arkansas will play host to Bradley University at 4 o'clock. That game will not be televised. Alabama A&M goes to number 18 Illinois. That game is on the Big Ten Network. And Grambling goes to the newly ranked number 24 Virginia Tech Hokies. That game can be found on the ACC Network. The number 13 Kentucky Wildcats will play host to number 16 UCLA Bruins at 5:15. That game can be found on CBS. Number 1 Purdue Boilermakers will host unranked Davidson at 6:15 on the Big Ten Network. Number 3 UConn will travel to Butler at 7 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. And to cap it all off, the number 9 Arizona Wildcats will play host to the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers at 10:30 on ESPN2. Great college basketball slate this Saturday. Why don't you head over to Cedars, catch all these great games, enjoy the great food and great atmosphere. We're going to take a time out. We'll be right back.
Allie's Upper Crust at 1700 Highland Avenue has a full menu: pizza, roll-ups, salad, soup, sandwiches, strombolis, dinners. They are just great for dine-in or take-out. Don't forget to give them a call at 724-652-7553. It's Allie's Upper Crust.
This program furnished by Sporting Goods, 23 East Washington Street, Newcastle. Call 724-658-2535.
Los Amigos! Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a good bite to eat, make sure to check out Los Amigos. They got you covered with things such as tacos, burritos, molcajete, and don't forget the great chips and salsa they put out for you when you get there. Make sure to check out Los Amigos on West State Street, Newcastle, PA 16101. It's Los Amigos. Los Amigos! Los Amigos!